Okay. In this video, we're going to start modeling our train for our scene, and we're going to make a kid's wooden train. And we'll talk about making it a wood texture or maybe a paint texture. But we're going to keep it simple just so that we don't go too far in depth in a bunch of little details and modeling things you're not ready for yet. So to start with, let's delete everything out of our scene. And let's hit Shift A, go to Mesh Circle, and let's go ahead and change. Actually, let's just leave it at 32 vertices. That will be fine. So I'm looking at it from the top by hitting 7 on the number pad, and you just have this mesh circle. We'll switch into edit mode. And part of what we're going to look at a little more in depth are a couple of modifiers that help when modeling to make things symmetrical and when you have to repeat things using the array modifier, which we'll get to a little bit later. So we have this mesh circle, and we're going to delete the left half, but make sure you leave the two vertices that are touching the green y-axis. So leave these two, delete all the others. Next, select all the vertices. We're going to grab that on the x-axis, and let's hit the number 2 to move it over 2 units, and then hit enter. Now we need to fill this in with a face, and then we'll extend this out to the center, and then we want a mirror or a symmetrical copy on the left side. So let's go ahead and add the mirror modifier by clicking on the modifier tab in the properties panel. Click add and then search for mirror. While we're here, let's turn on clipping, which is the little checkbox here near the middle. And that will prevent us from accidentally having vertices that overlap and faces that do weird things by going beyond this center point. Next, we're going to start making the face for this half circle. And to do that, we want to move the 3D cursor directly between these two vertices. So select this top and bottom left vertice, hit Shift S, and then cursor to selected. And that will put the 3D cursor directly between those. Now we're going to select all of them. And what we want to happen is to extrude and they all move towards the 3D cursor. To get them to go or to scale down to the 3D cursor, we have to change our pivot menu. So you can see the drop down menu here at the top, and we want the pivot to be the 3D cursor. So now that we have that, we'll hit E to extrude, S to scale, bring it in, not all the way, just leave a little space. And I'm zooming in a little bit and panning over. Let's hit E to extrude, S to scale one more time and stop. Then right click, merge vertices at cursor. And that will give us a perfectly straight line with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. So I will select these 5 vertices, being careful not to accidentally get some of these other ones that are really close. Then we're going to hit E to extrude, X for the X axis, and slide this over to the center. And you'll notice because clipping is on, it does not go past this center point. And that gives us the start for our train base. Now we need to give it some thickness. So we'll hit A to select all of it, E to extrude, and pull it up a little bit. Now let's go ahead and switch to object mode and add the subdivision surface modifier. And you'll notice that it is changing our shape. To fix that, let's go to edit mode, and we're going to use a loop cut. So I'm going to hit 1 on the number pad, so I'm looking at from the front. Make sure my 3D, not my 3D cursor, the cursor is near the center of one of these. Hit Control R, roll your mouse wheel up 1 time, so you have 2 loops going around, and double click. Now at the moment, they're still selected, so we're going to hit S to scale them. Actually, stop. Let's hit escape to cancel the scaling. Before we do this, we do need to switch our pivot point back to its default. So if we come up to the pivot menu, the default setting is medium point because we were about to accidentally scale based on the 3D cursor, which would have not worked. So now that we've done that, you should still have these two loops selected. If for some reason you've clicked off, you can hold Alt, left click on one of these edges, and it should select all the way around. Now hold Alt and Shift, left click, and it should select both of them. Now that we've done that, we're going to scale on the Z-axis, and that's going to help control this bevel around our edge. If we hit Tab to go to object mode, we could see how that looks. And let's right click and shade smooth. And I'm happy with that. And this will be our base for our train engine and the train cars. So let's go ahead and name this train base. And let's make 3 more copies. So select it, Shift D, X, left click to place it over to the side. Then we can hit Shift R to repeat that. And we have a total of 4 bases for our trains. Okay. In the next video, we'll start working on the train engine and model the parts for that.